we are here with Christian from Paragnosis. You guys are New York based instrumental, right?
Yep. Yeah,
Um,
we're all New York based. Me and my drummer grew up together in Washington Heights and Inwood. We actually met in elementary school, and we've been playing since we were 8 years old together, which is a long time. And our bassist Tom, I met when I went to the New School for Jazz and around 2012, and we clicked instantly and became great friends, and we ended up starting this project together. And then he actually moved to Washington Heights, funny enough. So we kind of all cultivated in starting this band in my apartment, which had a lot of problems with the neighbors. Did not like that.
I bet
Uh,
not.
we were recording demos for the first EP in this apartment, and the amps were so loud that we couldn't hear the cops or the neighbors banging. So we had some problems, but this band really started and cultivated here, and it was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's so. I remember those days, right? Like,
Yeah.
um, we lived. I lived in a duplex. This is probably, 30 years ago. My band practice. We had like it was two bedrooms, and one of the bedrooms was big, so we just all set up in there. The
Yeah.
whole fucking neighborhood would like stand outside, like yelling
Uh-huh.
and shit. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's good times.
Yeah, man.
So, so you went to school for music?
Yeah, well, so growing up in New York, I went through the public system in New York, and I was lucky enough to go to schools that had a music program, not necessarily a real music program, but teachers that cared, and teachers that really were involved with the scene, and um really special people that I got to meet growing up and take lessons from. Like, but one of the coolest things in the world was Blondie was in a band with the jazz teacher in my school. So we got to play with Blondie, and we went to Gateshead, and we played the Gateshead Jazz Festival. We played the Hard Rock Cafe with her. So I was in her band pretty much, and I got to play guitar with Blondie. She was like, I was in love with her. So it was
Yeah.
amazing. The 17-year-old being able to play with her, and um, it was so cool. But
Now you say Blondie, but you're referencing Deborah
Debbie
Harry,
Harry,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And she's just the sweetest, amazing person in the world. And she actually signed one of my guitars at the Hard Rock when we played with her. Um, but yeah, so it was amazing being able to play with people like that growing up. Um, and
So,
then that led me to I wanted to play music for a living. So I was like, well, I'm not going to go to school and write essays. I want to play music, right?
yeah.
So I auditioned for a bunch of conservatories, and I that led me to the New School for Jazz, and that's where I met Tom, and I met a lot of cool people that I'm still friends with today. We all kind of left and realized that, unfortunately, playing music, jazz music in particular, is not can't really make money doing that. So
No.
everyone kind of left. No one really got their degree, but uh, I met a lot of cool people that are still in the metal scene today. And yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for going there, this band wouldn't be a thing. So,
Yeah. Well, that's
uh,
cool. It's cool you
yeah,
have that like reference point. I
yeah.
think Dave Davidson from Revocation is I think he studied jazz guitar,
Hmm.
and he is like to watch him play is just phenomenal.
Insane. Yeah.
Like like oh shit, I could never, I feel like I could practice for 100 years and never be that
Never get
good.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a few people I feel that way about, but
Yeah. So did you have an interest in jazz early on?
no. So I actually, my first point of music was when I was 6 or 7. I found a flute in my parents' closet. And it was my mom's flute, and I was just wanted to make a sound out of it. I went crazy for. I must have drove them crazy for weeks until they were like, all right, let's fucking buy him a new, because this one was broken. She hadn't played it in years. So like, let's just buy him one and get him lessons. So I started doing that. So I played flute for years. And I did classical, and then I went to jazz and played in orchestras and all sorts of stuff. Um, and then I slowly moved to guitar. Um, and I just kind of I've been playing music for my whole life. My parents were both singers. My mom sang at the Metropolitan Opera, and my father was a singer as well and a manager. And so I was always around music, whether it was classical or jazz or opera or musical theater. And then I just fell into rock and jazz and never looked back.
Yeah.
It was always around, you know. And when I met Moise in, like I said, elementary school, his father played with McCoy Tyner. He was a jazz drummer. And he played with McCoy Tyner for throughout the 80s and 90s. So Moise, our drummer, naturally picked up the drums as a kid. So we were best friends and hung out together and played music together nonstop. And then we were like, let's start doing Megadeth covers. And, you know, and then we just kept playing and started bands, and it evolved and eventually turned into this. Um,
Hell yeah.
yeah, we've just been surrounded by music from our parents to our friends, and whether it's jazz or classical or metal, or it's just always been around, and we've always been consumed by it. So
Yeah. It's funny how like music can create those connections with other people,
yeah,
you know. It's probably my favorite thing about music is the connections that you make. I mean, some of my best friends, actually, uh, all of my best friends have, except for one, have come from, music of some sort, which
mhm.
is it's fucking awesome. Like
Yeah,
nothing better I like than waking up and seeing a text like, "Hey, dude, you got to check out this band," or
right.
you
Yeah.
know, I'm like, hell yeah.
Well, it's
So
therapeutic. It's therapeutic for anyone that loves it. That's why people can just become friends instantly, just at a
yeah,
show. They don't, I don't even know you, but you're here for this. So it's easy.
so
I
we're
mean, it's
cool.
therapy for everyone, whether they know it or not.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
uh,
it's, I am a big mental health advocate, and I think the biggest thing is like the biggest thing that I see for people that are having like mental health crises is a lack of connection, you know.
yeah,
So to uh, have the ability to connect with being human or, music or what have you, it fucking really helps a lot of people, help me through a bunch of shit.
of course. Yeah.
So, like, what were some of your first introductions to heavier music?
Um, I mean, it's gonna seem funny and obvious, but I share a birthday with Jimmy Page. So Led Zeppelin was a big one. I actually didn't know that I shared a birthday with him for a long time, but um, yeah, he's my all-time favorite, my icon hero. Love the guy. He's awesome. Guns N' Roses was a big one for me.
Okay.
Um, Megadeth and Metallica. Um, and then I found Tool, and that was kind of just it, for forever. But Mastodon was a big one. Primus. Um, and then of course Sabbath. Like Tony Iommi is a monster that I just strive to follow. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, there were a lot of big ones. I would say Zeppelin and Guns N' Roses were the two big turning points for me though as a kid, being like, what the hell is this? You know.
Y- Yeah,
Um,
I think a lot of people really had that. I mean, of course, Zeppelin stopped being in the 70s, and even, looking in the 80s and 90s, hell, even today, right? Kids are like, that's some of their earliest introduction because, like Zeppelin, Sabbath, their riffs, all of their music is like timeless.
right.
You could put it on at any point and it sounds
Yeah.
fresh and crisp and
I can't, I keep saying, I know people, a lot of people don't agree with me, but I'm gonna still say Zeppelin is the first metal band because Friends is in drop C. And if you distort that song, it's the heaviest fucking thing in the world. It's acoustic, but it's the heaviest thing in the world. Like all the things that they're doing, it's way ahead of anything. It's
Yeah,
just, it's not the sounds that we're used to hearing, but it's the sounds that we're used to hearing. It's just not, you know,
yeah,
distorted and there's no crazy blast beats behind it, but you could easily turn that into a death metal song in a second.
but
Uh,
but look at that, right? Like three-fourths of Zeppelin were all studio musicians. So
right.
those guys did it every single day. And it was like, what do we do? And they're all tremendous musicians,
Oh yeah.
like
I mean, I'm still gonna say half of Zeppelin is John Paul Jones. Just man, I can't say half, but I mean his melodies between keys or bass. I mean, he's carrying the band, and then of course, Jimmy, I love him, and Bonham is tight as hell, and of course, Robert Plant. But there's just so many aspects to every member, and they bring so many different qualities to everything, and it's just they were a true band where every member brought a certain piece and changed everything in a particular way, which made the sound.
yeah. Well,
And
that's,
you
we
can't
look at any
have one
classic.
without the other. Just like the
we-
Beatles, which are a huge thing for me too. That
Yeah,
there's no Beatles without one of them.
right.
You need all of them to make the sound. And
Yeah, well, so Beatles are kind of an interesting one, right? Because you go from Pete Best to Ringo Starr, and it was like it was still the Beatles,
yeah, yeah. And
and
Ringo really cultivated his own sound over
yeah,
the years.
yeah. People give
I
him
know
such a hard
they
time
make
as a
fun of
terrible
him, but
drummer, dude.
him with the cloth on the snare, and he's tight. He's tight. I
He,
know I know people can rip on him, but especially if you've watched that documentary that just came out a while back. I mean,
he
Ringo's the fun, playful one, but he's not an idiot. He knows what
no,
he's doing.
yeah,
He's
he kept his the way that he played was real unique. Like you ask any professional drummer to play like Ringo, and they fucking can't.
yeah.
So people can rag on him all they want, but they
Half of music is taste. The
yeah,
other half is technique.
yeah. But
Uh,
that's I think we look at honestly any band and change a member in it, and the sound it changes noticeably, and the biggest reference point that I have is like Black Sabbath, right? Like it stayed Sabbath, but then it was Dio you have Ozzy era, then Dio era, then Tony
yeah.
era, and they're all very, very unique.
Hmm. What did you think of 13?
Hmm. I liked it. I actually still listen to it.
Me
I,
too.
I
I
think
was
it's a
actually
great
listening
album.
to it today.
Oh, right
I
on.
love it. It was like pinnacle, like my best year in high school was when that record came out. I saw every single show in New York when they were on tour.
Ah, lucky.
It was just,
I only saw him once. Um, and
yeah,
I was I saw him on the end tour, and I was super grateful because I was there with my best friend, dude. We've been friends for hell at that point it was 35 or 40 years,
yeah,
so to go and experience that with him, and
amazing.
yeah, and the band was so tight.
Yeah,
uh
I never thought I'd see them, so that was such a treat, and they were on fire.
yeah. Oh,
Tony, fucking Tony, going through chemo during that record. He was like on his last legs, and I feel like he played the best he's ever played in his life.
I I feel the same about like Ozzy. When I saw him on that tour, I was like, I don't he's I've seen Ozzy a dozen times at least, and he
Yeah,
had never sounded that good. I was just
yeah.
like, so blown away. But again, right, that goes back to what we were just saying. Like you, it's the sum of all the parts. Now, of course, we didn't have Bill Ward on the end tour,
Yeah, it
but
was so great.
yeah, it was fantastic. So, how long now your EP, Paragnosis EP, how long has it been out? A couple of weeks now?
It came out on the 21st.
Oh shit, like a couple
Yeah.
of days.
Oh, a week. What day is it today? Yeah,
The
a week.
25th.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So pretty new. Um, it's funny because we actually recorded this EP before COVID. 2019 we recorded it, and um, we were super happy with it. We were shopping it to labels, and then you know what happened. Everything shut down. So
Yep.
we kind of put it on the back burner and weren't even really planning on releasing it. Um, but then we did this live video at Silvercord where we recorded the record with Joe and it blew up. So we were like, let's go, put it out. So it kind of came out of nowhere and it's good though, because we've wanted to put it out, but we just hadn't really, you know, had the
Yeah.
reason to yet. And once we started getting some hype, we were like, all right, it's time. Let's do it. We have so much more stuff too. So we're really happy to share this to the world finally. Because we were so happy with how the record came out. Um, it was just timing, and
Yeah.
you can't always, you can never expect how things are going to shake out, and it is what it is. But
That,
we're happy that we're putting it out now, and it's I'm still happy with everything. It's funny to listen to some of these recordings since 2020, 2022. And now listening back, I'm like, no, it's still great. Love it.
yeah, right
uh,
on. So
yeah,
how's the response been?
it's been really great. Yeah, I can't ask for a better response. Everyone's been super, super happy and, reaching out and saying they love it. And that's all that really matters. I'm honestly shocked with how many people are buying it on Bandcamp, which never expected. We were always like, oh, let's go for Spotify. We weren't really thinking about selling it. Just the fact that people are interested and want to support us is it's amazing. It just changes our day. Every time we get a message or a comment or a sale, it's just brightens our day, really.
Yeah,
So, and we love hearing from the fans. It's something that none of us were ever really expecting. So this is
that's
just all
cool.
like it's all new and cool, and yeah, we just want to keep doing it. So
Hell
it's
yeah.
it's just yeah.
Yeah, I mean that you just got to keep on keeping on, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
one of the things with us is like, and it sounds bad, but we're very selfish and we just kind of like to play music and do what we do. So we're bad with this side of things where we put stuff out and talk to people and we just kind of go in our hole and play together. And so that's, getting out of our comfort zone and putting stuff out and talking about it. It's great, but it's just not what we're used to doing. We've always been like, let's just go write music together. So it's great. It's really fun
yeah,
and love it. But
I think
it's a new thing for us.
I think a lot of bands are like that though, right? Like they want to write and play music and you know that like the interviews are always kind of like I mean we do it because we kind of have to, you know, and I
Yeah.
get it, but you don't get into a band so because you're like, dude, let's start a band so we can go do interviews. Like, no, you do it so you can fucking play music, right?
Right. Well, and again, the whole thing is like, we do want our music to go out and everyone sits around, they're like, why not us? Well, you gotta work for it. You gotta go do stuff, right? You can't just sit at home and play.
Yeah,
And that's a hard realization. And it's not even that we don't want to do this stuff like the interviews. It's just like not immediately what we think of. It's
sure.
like it's just I got a new riff. Let's go work on that, right?
Yeah.
I'll see you
Yeah,
Saturday.
let's play some music. Let's see what's
Even
happening.
yesterday, when we got this email, like we were all working, and I was like, "Who's available at 7?" I was like, "No, no." I'm like, "Okay, let me see if we can do tomorrow." But it's
Yeah.
but that kind of thing, it needs to be something that everyone's thinking about, and it's hard. It's a different mindset, but it's not something we don't want to do. It's just a pivot.
Well,
Everyone
it's yeah,
pivot comfortable with pivoting too.
what do they say? The there's a saying that I hear a lot is everything you want is just outside of your comfort zone,
Yeah,
so like you got to be willing to do it.
absolutely.
My sister she still tells me about like I put a few albums out 28 years ago,
Mhm.
and she's like, I remember when you put them out, you go door to door selling them. Like, hell yeah, I wanted people to listen to them. I didn't give a
Yeah,
shit,
yeah.
you know?
I remember me and Moise, our first band. I used to go into Best Buys and Virgin Mobiles, and all anything, and I'd hide the CDs. So hoping someone would be looking for a new CD and think, "Oh, I'll buy this one," and then bring to the checkout. They're scanning it. I can't sell it to you.
I guess that one's
Not
free.
not ringing up.
Yeah.
Hopefully they just get it for free. But I'd go in, I'd hide shit in stores, CD stores, record stores, wherever. They like the art, maybe they just walk out with it. Who knows? You
Yeah.
know. I
Well,
used
that's
I used to climb up uh the traffic lights in the city and stick posters on them and just hopefully, and then I was stupid enough to not realize that if the light's green, you're not going to see it. If the light's red, you're not going to see it. There's no light, you might see it. But I was in high school, so wasn't thinking about that. But
whatever. You live and you learn, right?
you used to do everything. You just hope somebody sees something.
Well, that's all you can do, right? It's like, you
Yeah.
know, the bands that make the most noise are the ones that are doing the things that other people aren't doing. Like two come to mind, immediately. Silly Goose out of Atlanta and Hemorrhage out of California. Both of them just like Silly Goose goes and sets up at gas stations and plays in the parking lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Hemorrhage has their bus outfitted as a stage. So they just pull up to a venue as the crowd's letting out and they play a fucking 30 or 45-minute set and then they take off again.
Yeah, you just got to play long enough for the police to come and
Yeah.
jet when they leave. We
Yeah.
talked about, I mean, people were doing it during the pandemic, but we were talking about, renting a flatbed and just singing shit into the flatbed and just driving around the city playing. Because some of our best responses have been shows at Tompkins Square Park and Washington Square Park, and after the show, we'll just sit there and we'll be selling merch, and people will be coming up out of the woodworks like, "Oh, we heard you, blah blah blah," and they'll never see us in a club, but just people walking through the park. That's been some of our best days, just playing 15 minutes in the park, but the response carries over, and we get fans out of it. So, um, that was something I wanted to do for a long time, but the permits and everything, it gets exhausting.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I think the cool thing about New York is there's so many opportunities to play, right?
yeah,
Like, you know, how many people busking do you see on the subway, right?
nonstop. Yeah,
So like what is that shit? There was that band, the Zoo something,
was the one in uh
played like a baritone
where,
sax
yeah,
and
Union Square. Yeah,
yeah.
those are all new school guys. Those they all went to school with us.
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
again, it's just doing something that's a little bit different.
yeah.
So what are you guys doing? What do you have planned over the next year to do that's just a little bit different?
Um, honestly, we have a couple of things in the talks for after the summer. We have our record release party July 6th at the Knitting Factory, which is I love it because we got heard slash discovered by Jamie, who invited us to record this record at Silvercord. That's how we kind of got involved with Silvercord, playing at the old knitting factory. And he came to us and he was like, I just want to record you exactly what you did. I want to record it in my studio. We are like, that sounds great. And that's what this EP is. It's us playing live. We played these songs 6 times in a row, probably 6 or 7 times, and we picked the best one out of each take. So it's a truly live record, which is what he really wanted to do, which we loved because we've recorded to a click, and then we've recorded live, and we were not happy with recording to a click. So when we had someone come to us and say, we really want to do this live, that was exciting.
Yeah.
So we really have this record release party that we're planning, and then we have a few things cooking out of state, and we're gonna see what happens and just book what we can, and probably just play this record a bit out. And we have some stuff we want to jump in the studio and do, but we don't really have dates or anything in mind. Right now, we're just gonna play and do what we can live, and yeah, that's about it. We don't really have anything concrete.
Nothing, no crazy plans.
Yeah, nothing, no crazy big plans. Just want to keep pushing stuff out.
Sure.
Yeah.
So when you guys play, are you just doing one-offs, like go and play a night at the knitting factory? Or are you looking to do like some weekend runs or maybe some week or 2 week runs?
Yeah, mostly weekend runs. I mean, we had some talks about a week or 2 here and there, and again, nothing concrete. I don't know if you know on Process, they're from Germany, and we played with them at St. Vitus, and they had us come and play with them in Philly. So we're hoping to do some more stuff with them, and then looking at some stuff in Massachusetts and Connecticut, a couple small runs. And yeah, we're gonna piece it together and see what happens. We're gonna stay East Coast for a little bit, but if something turns up, and hey, if you guys want us, we'll come and play for you.
Right on.
Please, like I said, email us, hit us up on Facebook. We'll come wherever you want. We're not opposed to going anywhere. It's just about making it happen.
I think the cool thing about the Northeast is everything's kind of consolidated, so you've got a couple hours to go almost anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, when we went to Philly, we did Megabus. We just we got a couple tickets on Megabus and just crammed all our gear in, and it was surprisingly great. But it's tricky in the city because we don't really drive anywhere. We do public transportation everywhere. So we do drive. So we, if we do have to go out of state, we drive. But for the most part, we try to deal with it without a car. But yeah.
So do any of you have a car?
Our drummer has a car, but we park it in Riverdale, and it kind of stays there until we need it. So, because Riverdale is like the only place in New York where there's no alternate side street parking, because they're just trying to get rid of cars here. So,
Okay.
it is what it is. But yeah. So it's really just comes down to what we need when we need it. We adjust accordingly. But yeah, we're definitely happy to come play anywhere. If you have anyone that wants us coming anywhere, we'll be there.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that want you guys to come play. I mean that
The
the
Philly
out
experience was amazing. I was not expecting that. We had never played in Philly, and it was like we had been there 6 or 7 times. It was
right
just
on.
yeah, everyone's just so nice and happy and supportive. It's really, really amazing.
Hell yeah. So this is, like you said, Tool, like when you heard Tool, that kind of really blew your mind, right?
Mm.
Have you thought about taking some physical copies to like a Tool show and just passing them out?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because yeah, I see people at Tool concerts all the time, and they shout me out, I shout them out. Like they all know. Everyone knows. Um, the scene is so tight knit, and um, everyone's just family. So it's very easy to bring in fans going to a Tool show and just passing out a couple of flyers, and people are like, "Oh, they look you up," and
Yeah,
look, you know,
not even flyers. I'm talking about taking like a CD or something and
oh, we're just
passing
going
those
out.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I usually do download cards or business cards just because once you give someone a CD, like that's what I hate about going to shows and buying merch early is now you got to like protect this thing that you bought because you can't run around and have fun because now I have a thing, you know. So I try not to burden people with like, here, take this.
Yeah. So in my world, that's a limiting belief, right? So like I would say,
Go for it.
yeah,
Yeah,
fucking if someone wants it, they're gonna take it. And if you're not charging anything for it, they're more likely gonna take it and give them an opportunity to listen. It's
right.
like what you want to do is lower that threshold for people to listen to the band.
Uh-huh.
Once you make that threshold almost non-existent and they listen, they're gonna like it. They're
Yeah,
gonna be
right,
like, fuck, like,
right, right.
and then they seek you out, right? Like I
Yeah.
had a conversation with a dude a couple weeks ago. There's a Detroit band, Battlecross, love them to death. So I'm talking to this dude, and he said the first time he found out about them, he was at it was some show, maybe a Metallica show. It was a bigger show, and the bass player's out handing out fucking CDs.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, well, shit, like
Right. Yeah.
you never know who you're gonna run into when you're out at a show, especially when you're forcing a conversation with them. Hey,
Yeah.
this is it's so crazy. It's a fucking sales job, you know?
Yeah, and it's tricky because it can go either way. It can. You never know who you're talking to.
Hmm.
You never know if it can go good or bad. So it's like there's a lot of factors in there, and you never like you said, if you don't do it, you're never gonna know, right?
That's it.
Uh,
Like I
yeah,
think in most sales positions, they say you've got to take um out of 100 people, you're going to get 99 no's and one yes.
yeah,
So
yeah.
whatever. You go out and you pass out 50 CDs or 100 CDs, yeah, it costs you a little money, but you're going to get some fans out of that,
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah,
you know.
uh, yeah, definitely. It's
Uh,
funny. Like I always like especially opening for some of these bigger acts. Like we'll set up the merch and we'll be hanging out, and there'll be a line for the other band, and it's like just wait, just go do our thing. They'll come, and then usually there's a line. So it's just about like that's kind of our back approach is let's do our thing and let people come rather than going towards people. But that's also not always the right. I don't think there is a right or wrong, but
no, I mean, ultimately it just depends on what your goal is.
yeah, yeah,
Like I'm saying this, but again, right? Like and it's not going to be the same for everyone, you know.
yeah, and it's also a personality thing too, right? Like you have to be that guy that wants to run out and talk, and um, I
I'm
can be
the
that guy all the time, but sometimes I'm not. It
Yeah,
depends on the day or the mood, and I don't
yeah.
have I don't have to explain that, but
No, not at all. I'm that guy every fucking day.
yeah,
My wife's like, she went to a graduation and she's
yeah,
like, I wish you were going with me. And I was like, why? She's like, because you're like my social buffer. You'll talk to
yeah.
everyone and I don't have to.
Yeah, it's about the same with my fiance. Yeah.
That's funny shit. So how long have you and your fiance been together?
7 years now.
Oh
Roughly.
shit.
Just engaged about 2 3 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
That's good shit. You guys uh have a timeline for tying the knot?
Probably in a year. We're talking about October, fall, cold.
Yeah.
Uh, Not summer, but
New York is cold, yeah.
oh yeah, yeah. But
Down here it's still we're probably still in the 70s.
whereabouts are you?
I live in Kentucky right now.
Oh, no way. Good
Yeah.
bourbon?
Yeah, I don't
I'm a bourbon guy.
are you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you'd like my collection.
All
Uh
right.
and I don't even like I quit drinking. Um I guess I quit drinking in September.
Oh, okay. Congratulations.
Thanks. It was like just one of those things. I got really trashed watching Pantera in July, and I don't
Yeah.
remember Lamb of God or Pantera playing, and I kind of kept drinking, and then Pantera was playing louder than life, and I said, you know what, dude, like I'm gonna fucking remember this.
Uh-huh.
So like probably a week before, I was like, I'm gonna quit. I'll just not drink until the first of the year, and first of the year came and went, and I'm like, I really dig the sobriety.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks. What kind of bourbon you like?
Uh Elijah Craig's my go-to. Um, but I love Bullet, you know. I I move around.
Yeah.
But
Rowan's Creek is a real good that was
yeah,
my daily drinker for a long time.
nice. Yeah.
My favorite is it's called Rhetoric. It's a 20-year.
Hmm. I've
So
never
Rhetoric, they do a 20, I gotta think, a 20, a 24, and a 25-year, I think.
okay. Hmm.
And the 20-year is just fantastic. Now it's part of the Orphan Barrel series, and the theory or the story behind it was they were unallocated barrels that they found in warehouses that they just
Oh, cool.
mixed and sold, and it was
Yeah.
like, oh cool, right? So you go and you hunt the bottles down when they release them, and there was a whole bunch of different ones, and now I think they just do like there's just like one or two brands that they do.
Nice.
um
Well, that's cool.
yeah, it's good shit. If you're into that, right?
Yeah. What's the scene like in Kentucky?
um
Rock
which
metal wise, Prague.
honestly, I'll tell you, in the last, I guess, post pandemic, super super thriving.
Really? Cool.
Yeah, we've the really cool thing is like the pandemic made people realize, oh, I need to fucking be out and go see shows. So you know you it now you see, like, we're a really small area. Like we're probably 1 million people now,
Hmm.
right? And we were like a 500,000, but now you go out to a show and there'll be three or four shows happening, on any given night, and people are out at the shows and having a great time. And I've been here 20 off and on about 24, 23, 24 years.
Hmm.
And the music scene is better than it's ever been. So many great fucking bands. We've got this. I'll call them a prog band called Ohm, OHLM. Same thing, instrumental. Um, they are fucking phenomenal.
Gotta write them down.
Yeah, yeah. Be sure to check them out. They're super nice dudes. The music is
Oh, eight.
OHLELM. Yep.
Oh, I got them right here. Nice.
Um, they're doing a big like 15-year thing
Cool.
next month, either July or August. I don't remember.
Hmm.
Um, but like we did, who was it? I went to an album release show a couple weeks last month. It was last month, and there was 700 kids at this show.
Nice. It's
So
awesome.
yeah, like
Yeah.
fuck yeah, I love seeing that.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like
Check them out.
What's it like where you guys are?
Um, kind of the same. I mean, the pandemic was really weird because in New York we had um not with this band Paragnosis, but with my other band, we were playing shows during the pandemic here. And all the venues had they were trying to do live streams with small audiences, and there were strict 15 feet from the stage, plexiglass. The cops were outside the venue. If, we were sound checking, and if there was anyone within 15 feet, there was actually a marker. The cops were ready to shut the venue down and write him a $15,000 fine.
Fuck.
It was crazy trying to play shows during COVID. But it was cool because some of these venues, there were very limited shows, and people were able to buy tickets and stream online, which was really cool. And then some people were able to buy tickets and sit in the venue. But these like venues where you would have like 400 people packed in, there were 10 people in the room sitting at cocktail tables, which is very strange
It's
for
weird.
a
Yeah.
rock club. But it was cool because we were able to see people again. And then once all the heavy restrictions kind of went away, it kind of just immediately went right back to what it was. It took some time for people to get like comfortable being around each other. Um, but for me, the people I saw, it was the people in my two bands and my family. So, I was kind of always around people, especially like, not gonna say it was nice, but not having to work for 2 years was great. Because we were just playing music and spending time with each other and outside, and it was bad, but it was also a kind of a personal reflection that we all had, and we kind of realized what mattered, which
Mm.
wasn't working ourselves away and killing ourselves.
No, you're good.
Part of music in the city, it really was.
Hell yeah.
It changed a lot of things, but when it did come back, it came back. It was like, we're back.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that it's kind of everywhere, right? You're
And we
seeing,
got really lucky. We didn't lose a lot of venues. I thought we would have lost a lot more venues. Um, but we got lucky on that one.
yeah.
Uh,
I feel like there was a lot of help for venues. I know
there were.
here, there's one of the venues, God, it's been around for as long as I've been here. I actually saw Deftones there, and it's like capacity 700. It's
Uh-huh.
fucking great.
Yeah.
Uh, that was 20 years ago. Jesus Christ. Um, but they did something, and I think a lot of venues did it when they owned the building. They sold the building so they could and did a lease back so they could have some money to keep things rolling.
Right.
There were it was really nice seeing that venues were willing to go to that length to
Yeah.
keep their staff in good shape, and um nice seeing a lot of people really come together and make shit happen.
Sure.
Uh, so what like bands are you listening to currently?
Currently, well, I've already said Tool, Zeppelin, Sabbath, Primus is a big one. Mastodon is huge, for me. Um, there's a band that we're playing with for our record release party, Added Color. They're good friends of ours. They are an awesome, awesome local band. I would definitely check them out. Um, yeah, what other bands? I mean, definitely Clutch is one of my all-time favorites. Um, yeah, it kind of changes day to day.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. I mean, Animals as Leaders is another huge one for me, obviously, as an instrumental act. But um, yeah, it's just it changes day to day. Um,
Have you listened to the Ocean Collective at all?
the Ocean Collective, I've heard of them. I'm not sure if I nothing's ringing a bell, but I know I've heard the name.
You should check them out. They put out an album. I mean, they've put out a lot of albums since, but the last album that I remember actually buying, was it called Pelagic or something? Um,
The Ocean Collective.
yeah, they so they did, it was like a double album. One of them had vocals, one of them was just instrumental.
Hmm.
It was the same song, but it was just really cool because if you wanted to hear vocals, they've got a great vocalist, but if you wanted to listen to the just the instrumentals, you fucking had that. It was like,
I know Dance Gavin Dance does that too.
oh, okay.
Yeah, we work with a guy that's probably their biggest fan ever. Um, but yeah, he's got the deluxe editions for like every one of their records, and I swear he doesn't wear any other shirts than Dance Gavin Dance. Like every single day he comes into work, he has a different Dance Gavin Dance shirt. He's like an insane fan. It's awesome to see. But one of the things he turned us on to, which I actually got me into them, because I was never really into them, but they have an instrumental version of every record.
That's
And
cool.
it's pretty cool to hear it. Like it almost sounds like a different thing. Like it was just blew me away. It was like, oh, this is just doesn't even sound the same, even though it's the same music. It's just when you're listening to it without any vocal context, it's like a different
It's
valley journey.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
whole different vibe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, it's funny, it goes back to what we were saying earlier about like, the band is the sum of the whole parts, and you take one part away and it changes.
Yeah. It knocks everything out of whack.
Yeah.
Good or for
So
bad. Could be, never know. But
I didn't know that Dance Gavin Dance did that. I think that's really cool.
yeah, it was something I didn't know. Just being friends with him, he, you know, turned us
Yeah.
on to it. I was like, wow, that's really cool.
I like when bands do cool shit like that. The
If I'm not mistaken, Mastodon does that too. On their
mm,
deluxe editions, they have some instrumental versions of their.
possibly, I'm not sure. Like I
Yeah,
I
I gotta look
really
back.
dig Mastodon, but
Yeah,
I've got, fuck, I've probably got damn near their whole discography on
yeah.
vinyl.
If I were to turn you that way, you'll see there's like a whole wall of vinyl from Mastodon. It's just my little fun keepsake. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've got shelves over here that are
uh-huh.
just like,
Yeah, yeah.
fuck.
No,
My wife's like, I just got 2 new records yesterday, and she's like, really, more?
more. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry. So are you a big vinyl collector?
Yeah, yeah. Not like I wouldn't say I go out of my way to collect it, but over the years I've stockpiled a lot, and Aaron as well, and our parents. And yeah, I mean, I love vinyl. I love listening to it. I love the little static and just the whole. It's like a, it's like a, it's like a show. It's like a
Yeah.
whole thing rather than just throwing on a song. Putting it on is like a whole experience. And
Yeah. And
yeah,
you've got to listen to the whole album start to finish.
yeah. I mean, my favorite. I know I mentioned the Beatles, but just I put on Abbey Road
That's a
and
great album.
just go through it and just it's just a total journey, and that's one of my favorite records to listen to. I also love listening to the BBC broadcast that I have of Led Zeppelin. That's another one that I love. I have a lot of old records I just love to put on and space out. Um,
Yeah, me too.
yeah, yeah.
Like, say
I would definitely love to print some music on vinyl one day
you can.
of Paragnosis, but yeah,
So you really, Bandcamp does a thing where you can do vinyl through them.
I would like to go print it properly,
I mean,
but
they print it
it's
properly. It's just
expensive and it's years out, but it takes like a year. But
no, not not now. It doesn't.
well, I know it was. I mean, we printed vinyl on our last record for my other band. It took about 7 month wait. We had a
Yeah,
label in England that did it for us, and it takes a while, but
yeah,
maybe it's changed since. But
yeah. Now you're still looking at about a 3 month turnaround.
yeah, okay, so it's a little better. Yeah,
Shit is a lot. So through COVID, they were like,
COVID was a long time.
oh, dude, 12 to one
Yeah,
company said 12 to 18 months or something. I was like, 18 months?
yeah, yeah,
Are you fucking crazy? Like, no
yeah,
one's
yeah, yeah.
holding an album for that long. What the hell?
Right.
But the turnaround now, like obviously, the infrastructure's it's there and there's a
Yeah,
lot of opportunity and people are popping up with pressing plants all over the
yeah.
place.
I was hearing about that. Yeah,
So yeah, there's if you want to do it, like you could do it for ch- I'm gonna say cheap, um, cheap in today's terms. Like
yeah.
you could probably get them
Probably
for
do like a 45 or something for now if we were gonna do something. You
oh
know.
yeah, yeah. You're couple of like I don't know $5 to $7 a piece I think to make
Yeah.
them. I remember shit back in the '90s. There was a they're still around United Record Pressing in Nashville.
Mm.
You got they did the whole thing 7 inch for under $1 a piece. Those were the days.
Oh wow, nice.
All right.
Now cassettes are coming back too.
Do what?
The cassettes are coming back too now.
Yeah. I I it, too many bad memories of trying to
Yeah, yeah, I'm just saying they're back. Those
yeah,
they're back.
people love them, but
Yeah.
not for me. I
It's more of like a tchotchke, like a fun thing to have.
yeah,
That's what I think
keepsake.
it was. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
who has cassette players? I think more people have record players than cassette players, but
Yeah,
whatever.
they do, but I'm afraid that the cassette players are going to blow up like record players and I'm like,
Uh, yeah, we'll see.
yeah. Like I've still got a bunch of tapes, but I'm not going to go buy a cassette
Never
player.
know. And CDs are gonna come back, right? Hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully not. Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, I'll just use Spotify and Apple Music and then shit
Yeah.
on my phone
Right. Yeah.
cuz I'm lazy or
Yeah. I
cuz
mean,
it's convenient, really.
well, also CDs don't sound that much better than, I mean, Spotify's the devil, but CDs don't sound that much better. Let's be honest.
Yeah, Spotify's the devil you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
God, I had a conversation about Kazaa last night. We used to download so much shit off of Kazaa.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You're like, please don't be a virus. Please don't be
Hey,
a
who knows,
virus,
right?
you know? Uh, but like that changed the landscape of music, Kazaa and Napster and all that. Like
Sure.
people got so into trading and they look at that as such a bad thing. Uh, but dude, through the 80s and 90s, pre-Napster, all we did is tape
Right.
trade
Yeah, I know what
tapes.
you mean. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It was the same thing. You just
Right.
fucking recorded it and sent it off to
It's
someone.
just sharing music.
Yeah,
Just again, we talked about it earlier. That's really what it's all about is just sharing experiences and, you know,
yeah, for sure. So do you guys have music for, I mean, it sounds like you have music for a new something already written.
yeah, we have the better half of a record. Uh, we have a lot coming, but so if you go to that silver cord video, the live session we did, two of the new ones are in there, um, which you can find on Silver Chord's YouTube channel.
Okay.
If you look up Silver Chord Sessions, we're one of their sessions, and we played a new song, and then that we had literally finished like maybe 2 or 3 days before we went to do the video. We weren't even sure we were going to play it. And then we played Inverted Rehabilitation, which is one of the tracks off the EP.
It's a great song.
Thank you. And then we played another new tune. So we kind of like sandwiched a song off the record, knowing that we were going to release it. But yeah, that was a fun one. Inverted Rehabilitation. That was yeah, it's one of my favorites. So
Okay, I was gonna ask if that was one of your favorites off the album.
oh yeah. And that was another, we have a couple of socially commentary things on that EP that didn't even really mean to be, but that's one of the ones that kind of turned into it. We had kind of centered the idea around the awful prison system that we have here in this country, and not to get all preachy, but that was kind of the idea of what the song was based around, is rehabilitation versus incarceration, and this dark kind of happy dark bouncing around and very anxious song.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, you're right. Like our prison system and our political system are so fucked up.
it's dark right now.
Yeah.
Been
Eh,
dark, been darker, but you know,
I don't
that
know
was
that it's been
kind of the
darker. We're pretty fucked up.
yeah, but that was kind of the idea for that song title and that song. Um,
Hell
but I
yeah.
just love that. It's just such a fun song to play.
Yeah, I
That's
bet I think it'd be a really fun song to see played live.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, all right, Christian. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you taking time out tonight to come and
Absolutely.
chat with me.
Yeah.
Um, I know we kind of went off on a little COVID tangent there,
Yeah,
but
yeah, it's all good. Uh, well, thank you for having me, and yeah, hope to be in touch. Let's stay in touch.
for sure, dude. Go
All
and
right.
have yourself a great night. And
You too.
I look forward to hearing some more stuff from you guys.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Bye bye.
See ya.